What is the carbon footprint of an EV? Electric vehicles, EVs, are not as bad for the environment as internal combustion engine, ICE cars. However, they still have a carbon footprint. To find out exactly how much cleaner an EV is, we need to look at the entire life cycle of the car, taking a so-called cradle-to-grave approach. An LCA, life cycle assessment, is a study done to determine the environmental impact of a product, from production to end of life. A recent LCA report on the Polestar 2 shows the true difference between EVs and comparable ICE vehicles. It's during the construction phase that EVs today have a much higher carbon footprint than their ICE counterparts. This is mainly due to the lithium-ion battery modules. However, during the use phase of the car, the carbon footprint can be cut in half by charging with green electricity. This allows the customer to contribute to sustainable mobility themselves. By the end of its life cycle, Polestar 2's carbon footprint will be between 27 and 50 tons CO2 equivalents, depending on the type of electricity used to charge it. Contrast that with the 58-ton CO2 equivalence footprint of a comparable ICE car, and you can see how sustainable an EV really is. Knowing this, people can do their part to contribute to sustainable mobility, one EV at a time. How long does it take to charge an EV? When it comes to charging an EV, there are two methods: alternating current, AC, and direct current, DC charging. AC charging is power straight from the grid. Plugging into a wall socket or a wall box will give you AC power, meaning a charge from 0 to 80% in 8 to 10 hours. DC charging is more commonly found in public charging stations. A charge from 0 to 80% will take approximately 40 minutes. Power always comes from the grid in AC form. Power is always stored in batteries in DC form. Therefore, the power needs to be converted somewhere. EVs have an onboard converter, taking the AC power from the grid and converting it to DC for the battery to store it. This conversion takes time, increasing the overall charging time required. DC chargers have the converter in the charger itself, allowing the power to be fed directly to the battery. This enables much faster charging time. What is regenerative braking? Regenerative, or regen braking, is when the electric motor recovers kinetic energy caused by braking and uses it to charge the battery. Whenever the driver lifts their foot from the accelerator, the motors reverse the torque direction, turning them into generators, which slow the car and charge the battery. As it's the motor which causes the deceleration, it's possible to drive EVs with this feature without ever using the brake pedal, except in case of emergencies, so-called one-pedal drive. The Polestar 2 allows for 3 different levels for different driving situations. Standard is ideal for stop-and-go traffic and city driving. Low provides more coasting, ideal for road trips. And off allows for a more conventional driving experience. Regen braking, turning less speed into more energy. What is one-pedal drive? One-pedal drive refers to the type of driving made possible with regenerative braking. Regenerative, or regen braking, is when the electric motor recovers kinetic energy caused by braking, thereby charging the battery of the EV, as opposed to conventional friction braking. The motor itself causes the deceleration, not the brakes. Whenever the driver eases up on the accelerator, the motors reverse the torque direction, turning them into generators, which slow the car and charge the battery. The level is usually customizable. For example, the Polestar 2 allows for 3 different levels depending on the situation. Set to low, it will allow for more coasting on the highway, for example. This enables the EV with this feature to be driven without ever engaging the brake pedal, except in case of emergencies. Are EVs safe? EVs are in fact safer than many of their internal combustion counterparts. This is down to a number of factors. Firstly, instead of a tank of highly flammable fuel, electric vehicles contain lithium-ion batteries. Thermal runaway, in which batteries can overheat to potentially dangerous levels, is accounted for in the design of EVs. Protective cooling systems ensure that the battery's temperature remains at optimal levels. Secondly, the electric drivetrain of an EV sits, for the most part, under the car. In EVs, such as the Polestar 2, this enables a front luggage compartment which doubles as an enlarged crumple zone in the event of a collision. It also creates a lower center of gravity for the car, improving handling and reducing the chances of rollover accidents. Thirdly, the space not occupied by the drivetrain can now house other safety innovations. Polestar 2's front lower load path, for example, is a section of the car's body designed to absorb energy in a potential frontal crash situation, like an engine would in an internal combustion engine car, helping to reduce risk of injury to passengers.